Crime history in New Orleans offers a captivating exploration of how cultural tensions, socio-economic factors, and justice intersect and shape societal narratives. In the late 19th century, New Orleans was a melting pot of cultures, with a significant influx of Italian immigrants. The murder of New Orleans Police Superintendent David Hennessy in 1890, followed by the infamous anti-Italian lynchings, stands as a pivotal moment in this history, highlighting the prejudices and fears that simmered beneath the surface of the city's diverse population. Understanding this event is crucial because it underscores the racial and ethnic tensions that can arise in evolving urban environments. Following Hennessy's murder, suspicion quickly fell on the Italian community, fueled by existing stereotypes and xenophobia. The subsequent arrest and acquittal of 19 Italian immigrants led to public outrage, culminating in a lynch mob storming the parish jail and killing 11 of those accused. This act of vigilantism revealed the fragility of the justice system when faced with public hysteria and prejudice. A real-world example of this historical moment's impact is the evolution of Italian-American identity in the United States. Initially met with hostility and discrimination, Italian-Americans used this tragedy to galvanize their community, eventually becoming an integral part of the American tapestry. Another example is the broader impact on civil rights, as this event sparked national debates on due process and the protection of minority groups, laying groundwork for future legal reforms. Scholars underscore the importance of this event in understanding the dynamics of immigrant assimilation and the perils of scapegoating. The lynchings are often cited as a grim reminder of how fear and intolerance can eclipse justice and due process. However, challenges to this narrative arise in discussions about historical context and the portrayal of Italian immigrants, some of whom were involved in organized crime, adding complexity to their vilification. This incident not only highlights the intersection of crime and ethnic tension, but also illustrates the role of media and public opinion in shaping justice. As such, it serves as a critical point of reference for discussions on race, immigration, and the justice system in America. The repercussions of this event influenced subsequent legal protections for immigrants and contributed to the evolving discourse on civil rights, demonstrating its far-reaching impact beyond New Orleans. David Hennessy served as the Superintendent of Police in New Orleans in the late 19th century and was a prominent figure in the city's law enforcement. His tenure was marked by efforts to combat organized crime, particularly targeting the influence of the Sicilian Mafia, which had established a foothold in New Orleans. Hennessy's murder in 1890 became a pivotal moment in American history, preceding one of the largest mass lynchings in U.S. history. Understanding the background of Superintendent David Hennessy is essential to grasp the complex interplay of racial tensions, immigration, and justice that characterized the era. The significance of Hennessy's assassination lies not only in the loss of a senior law enforcement figure, but also in its aftermath, which saw the eruption of anti-Italian sentiment. Many believed that Hennessy's murder was orchestrated by members of the Italian community whom he had aggressively pursued. The incident underscored deep-seated prejudices and fears regarding Italian immigrants, which led to the brutal lynching of 11 Italian Americans. This event highlighted the prevailing xenophobia and set a precedent for how immigrant communities could be scapegoated in times of social unrest. One real-world example of Hennessy's impact can be seen in his crusades against organized crime, which laid foundational aspects for future law enforcement strategies against the mafia, setting a template for operations nationwide. Another example is the political and social upheaval his murder caused, influencing immigration policy debates and initiating discussions around ethnic tensions in America's melting pot cities, reshaping public perception and the course of U.S. immigration law. Opinions supporting this point often focus on Hennessy as a martyr for justice, emphasizing his dedication to law enforcement as a catalyst for addressing organized crime. However, some alternate perspectives criticize the subsequent justice system failures, where the lack of due process for the accused Italians revealed stark racial and ethnic biases within American society. The challenges and controversies surrounding Hennessy's murder mainly revolve around the subsequent mass lynching, which challenges the integrity and fairness of the American justice system at the time. Critics argue that this was not just a reaction to Hennessy's death, but an eruption of long-standing ethnic tensions, influenced by sensationalist media coverage that fanned public outrage and hysteria. Overall, the background of Superintendent David Hennessy connects deeply with the broader narrative of crime history by illustrating how a single event can expose and exacerbate underlying social fissures. His assassination and its aftermath demonstrated the complexities surrounding ethnicity, justice, and public sentiment, resonating through the decades as a cautionary tale of prejudice and vigilantism. The murder of New Orleans Police Superintendent David Hennessy in 1890 is a pivotal event that not only shocked the local community but also ignited intense racial and ethnic tensions with profound national implications. David Hennessy was a respected figure in the city known for his efforts to combat organized crime, notably targeting groups connected with the Italian-American community. His assassination on October 15, 1890, was immediately attributed to these groups, largely due to prevailing stereotypes and the complex socio-political dynamics of the time. The significance of Hennessy's murder lies in its immediate aftermath, which sent ripples throughout not just New Orleans, but also across the United States. The event underscored the deep-seated prejudices against Italian immigrants, who were often viewed with suspicion and hostility. This tragic event culminated in one of the largest mass lynchings in American history, where 11 Italian Americans, some of whom were acquitted in court, were brutally murdered by an enraged mob. Such acts highlighted the dangerous consequences of prejudice and mob justice, illustrating the fragile nature of due process during this era. Real-world implications of this include the reconsideration of immigrant policies and community relations. For instance, it prompted the Italian government to demand reparations and led to diplomatic tensions between Italy and the United States. Another example is the impact it had on shaping judicial practices and ethnic integration in American society, pushing forward dialogues about civil rights and legal protections for all citizens. Supporters of the lynchings at the time believed they were upholding justice in the face of a failed legal system, illustrating a dangerous belief in vigilante justice that bypasses established legal processes. However, this perspective was and remains controversial, highlighting the fine line between justice and discrimination. Challenges and controversies surrounding this event include debates over who truly was responsible for Hennessy's murder and the subsequent unfair targeting of the Italian-American community. Alternative viewpoints suggest that the incident was more about consolidating local political power and addressing economic competition posed by Italian immigrants, rather than true justice for Hennessy's murder. This event connects to broader discussions about crime and race relations, illustrating how a single act of violence can exacerbate existing tensions and lead to widespread societal consequences. The murder of David Hennessy and its aftermath serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of prejudice and the importance of adhering to principles of justice, underscoring themes that remain relevant in discussions of crime history and ethnic relations today. Public reaction and media coverage in 1890 played a crucial role in shaping the narrative surrounding the murder of New Orleans Police Superintendent David Hennessy and the subsequent anti-Italian lynchings. This concept refers to how society and the press responded to Hennessy's assassination, which significantly influenced public opinion and spurred a violent backlash against the Italian immigrant community. At its core, public reaction is the collective response of the people, while media coverage is the portrayal and dissemination of information by the press. Together, these elements were key in escalating tensions and inciting one of the largest mass lynchings in American history. The significance of examining public reaction and media coverage lies in understanding the power of narrative in fueling racial and ethnic tensions. The press at the time characteristically sensationalized the crime, casting aspersions on the Italian community by perpetuating stereotypes of Italians as inherently criminal. This coverage often played into existing prejudices and fears, heightening xenophobia and leading to violent repercussions. For instance, newspapers such as the New Orleans Times-Democrat published inflammatory articles that painted Italian immigrants as the culprits behind crime and corruption, which stoked public outrage. Furthermore, public meetings and rallies were held, with influential civic leaders calling for extrajudicial action. This atmosphere of hysteria and misinformation culminated in the lynching of 11 Italian immigrants, following their acquittal or mistrial in connection to Hennessy's murder, a horrific event applauded by some segments of the media and public as an act of vigilante justice. Opinions at the time supporting the lynchings often viewed them as a necessary evil to restore order and justice. However, these views were not without challenges. There was significant international backlash, particularly from Italy, which condemned the U.S. government's failure to protect Italian citizens, leading to diplomatic tensions. This episode highlights the challenges posed by media bias and public hysteria, illustrating how misinformation can lead to violence and injustice. Furthermore, it underscores the broader implications for how minority communities can be unfairly targeted and scapegoated during times of social unrest. In relation to the broader topic of crime history, this incident exemplifies the dangerous interplay between crime, racial prejudice, and media influence. It serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of narrative framing and the need for responsible journalism and informed public discourse to prevent history from repeating itself in similar contexts of ethnic or racial strife.